Hey, everyone, Kyle once again, and which I did say. When I reviewed Keijo, that would be the last one for Anime Month, though. But I finally managed to squeeze in one more, so I can say this is like the last review for Anime Month for now. So until next time, though. But because I was interested, I got the DVD and like a while back, and I feel like I wanted to squeeze in this one just for Anime Month because I did enjoy this series. So, like I said, Keijo was like the last review for Anime Month, though. But I would consider this one the last review for Anime Month. So the last review for Anime Month I wanted to get in with is which I enjoyed. But I would say it's fairly recent, since this came out like in late 2018. So I can say it's fairly recent, and surprisingly this came out was like before. So this is like, say like it's like an original. Maybe I could say original. It's hard to say because the word original is hard to come by nowadays. But because this anime had no manga series before its release, so let's say it's like an anime series that came out that had no manga. Which there is a manga series now though, but this came out. It came out like shortly after when the anime series premiered. So yeah. So the first like an anime series that had no manga before the series came out. So. And this came out in late 2018, and for this last review for Anime Month, I'm going to be talking about it, and that is of Zombieland Saga. Zombieland Saga, like I said, premiered in 2018. This is a limited edition I got here, so now this comes out with just not only a Blu-ray and DVD set here, but this also comes with some 3 holographic art cards and some magnets and a 20-page art book. So like I said, I like buying not only animes I'm interested in watching though, but I also like getting the special editions of certain of animes. You know, like say it comes with featurettes like these, which is cool to have. So, and I like the way that this art book has. Like it's a little bit of a hollow, glowiness to you can see as you can see in the light. So this is pretty cool. And so with magnets and holographic art cards, so this will probably say a very decent special edition, limited edition I should say more. But Zombieland Saga, okay. Now, there's very few zombie type animes. Of course, one of my all-time favorite animes that I really loved, and that is of High School of the Dead. Of course, I love High School of the Dead. That's like to me, that's like the best interpreter of a zombie apocalypse, basically. But I love High School of the Dead. I reviewed that last year. You can check that out. You can check out my review last year of it, which I said before. I want a second season of that. I want to see, because there's a little bit more in the manga that continues afterwards. I want to see more of that though. But sadly, 10 years later now, still hasn't happened. But this is after seeing this, I want to see a second season. I want to see a second season to this one, but which thankfully there is. They announced that there was going to be a second season, which I think now was going to come out I'm guessing it's going to come out next year in 2021, considering the circumstances. But yeah, so at least this is getting a second season because on the cliffhanger ending of this, there is going to be a second season, which this was called Zombieland Saga Revenge. It's called. So at least this is going to get a second season, which I'm curious and interested in watching. But as for the first season, okay. How okay? I'm sorry, but it opens up just like within like the first minute. how I'm watching it, and like the first minute I was like, oh shit, basically, because our lead character right here by the name of Sakura, she's ambitious young girl who which you find out towards the end more of her backstory on her previous life, which explains later though. But she's excited. She had like this little application for an idol for this idol group that she's been really enjoyed watching called was Iron Frill, and she was really going to go out and fulfill her dream. And then just like seconds after that, the moment she leaves the moment she steps outside her house, boom, instantly she gets struck by a freaking truck. And I was like, okay. And then how is in slow motion, and when she's after she get hit and she's flying out over the top of slow motion, it's like the credits are going. You get this heavy metal song that's playing. Like, okay, that's a way to tragically open up your series. So, yeah, and then she wakes up now in this creepy looking mansion house, dark, and then she sees zombies. These other girls that are zombies. She's scared. She runs away. She runs in the pouring rain. And realizes that it was in the Saga prefecture, and she runs to this young police officer on a bike, and the guy he gets frightened, pulls out his gun, and then when he says zombie, she looks in the mirror and realizes that she is now a zombie. And there's this, and then you get the guy who basically brought her back to life, by the name of Kotaro, and telling her that she has been dead 10 years, so 2018. So she died in 2008. So she's been dead 10 years, and he brought her back, which doesn't explain how he brought her back to life, or the other girls as well. But Kotaro. Now, usually some characters I think they're annoying or over. Well, this guy is over the top on purpose, because throughout this whole entire series, all he does, he just screams and yells in the girls' faces, right in their ears, like whatever it is. He just throughout this whole series, he just screams and yells the top of his lungs in these girls' faces, basically. And I don't know why. He's over the top though, but I think it was that's an annoying character, always just screaming and yelling verbally, abusing all of the girls, like how the way he talks. But I don't know why. Maybe it is. I don't know if this is me though, but maybe I just kind of thought the guy was like. I for some reason I think I like that guy, like that character. Yeah, but Sakura, she's the first to be awakened, and then later you get introduced to all the other characters that by the end of this episode, which I'll get to. But he explains that he brought these other girls, her, to be part of this, to make this idol group, because the idol, like it's kind of like the idol stuff is like dying out, so. He wants to form a new group using these zombie girls to bring like that idol stuff back to life, basically. And he hired them. He brought these girls back, like you introduced to Saki, who died back in the 90s or mid 90s, you say. I think it was mid 90s, where she was the leader of this biker gang, which the episode explains her backstory and her death. And then you get another girl by the name of I, which you find out that this girl, I, she was the former lead performer, the lead singer, for that idol group that Sakura liked, Iron Frill, which you saw, which you was watching the group playing the the lead singer, that was her, which you can explain how she died. And then you got another girl, another idol singer, which I think I died shortly after or before Sakura did. And then you get another idol singer by the name of Junko, who was an idol singer from the 80s. She died back in the 80s. And then you get a girl who was like from the 19th century by the name of Yuguri. And then you get a young child actor who was like 12 or something from 2011 by the name of Lily. And you get this girl who we don't know anything about by the name of Tai, where she's the only one who doesn't speak English. She still basically the way she acts, she still acts like a zombie, but there are certain moments, like little bits and moments of the series where she does a couple of things, like responding to the girls, whatever. So even though she's like not fully conscious as a human though, but she still is acting like she's still a zombie, but you know going whatever. But she still does understand some certain things though. So, and then like Kotaro, who brought them all back to life, and like the first gig that he sets them up in, which he's also a professional makeup artist. Like he puts the makeup on them to make it appear like how they look like their normal selves as humans. So he sets them for their first gig up at this this heavy metal gig, and I don't know how this plays out. How it plays out is kind of funny because like I said, all the other girls, they haven't gained their consciousness back, so they're all doing like how the heavy metal stuff when they're with the long hair, they just do this. Which is more, because they're dead, they flex themselves backwards a little bit more because they're dead. And, like, with Tai, who almost, like, sends up by one of the guys, and when her head falls off. And it is kind of a little bit successful as well. And then by the end of the episode, then they all get their conscience back, except for Tai. Then they try their next gig at this this certain one place, but it ends up becoming like a rap battle between Sakura and Saki, where that was kind of funny too. And the more it goes on in the series, at first you think Zombieland Saga, you think it's gonna be more of like more of a horror anime series, but it's not. It's more comedy than it is horror though. But though you do get some dramatic things when especially when it explains the background stories and how some of the characters when they died. Like in an episode where not a quick shot, but there's an episode where since Junko and they're both idol singers, but they come from two different eras. Considering that Junko, she was an idol from the 80s because she's now coping with certain changes that has happened within the 30 years, like technology, like the internet, computer, or whatever, the computers and internets, or how idol singers are different now from how she was back then. So like her and I have a bickering on differences on that subject, and then how Junko, way she died in a plane crash, and then with when she was talking with Saki, when there was an instance where some lightning is striking, she gets afraid because of the lightning, because that's how she died. Like in the middle of when her band was performing, she goes right in the middle of center stage in front of the crowd. All of a sudden, lightning strikes down on her and kills her right in the middle of the crowd. So she's a little hesitant on that. That's how she died. And this is where there's a certain places where they go to make money and stuff. Like they go into this hotel, and to this where some of the girls they wanted to they go try one of the hot springs, and Sakura's like the owner of the place goes to the hot spring, and they want to try to get out there without being seen because without their makeup on, they're zombies. So and the Sakura's head actually falls off and scares the crap out of the lady. Or yet another episode or another background war, another with Lily, the child actress, because there's moments where her father, who's this big ginormous guy, who was like a giant, he sees her in a magazine and then goes to one of the when they meet when the fans want to meet them, get autographs, whatever. Which is one of the reasons why Juko was having difficulty to explain what difference with I. But Lily's father goes to see her, and because he's thinking he's like it can't be her because she's been dead, right? So he thinks of the girl that resembles like kind of looks like her, and he explained that her Lily and her father had a good relationship, watching TV all the time together, laughing and enjoying the times they had together. And then so when she wanted additional to become a child actress, she was a hit instantly, and her father was suddenly putting more work towards her, like ignoring how she feels about being overworked and all that. And then would come the time when, during all that, she noticed in the mirror that she was finally, because she said she didn't want to grow up, right? And all of a sudden she knows a single facial hair on her chin, and then she just keeled over because of that. So yeah, she died of a heart attack because of a single strand of hair. Which another thing, which the father called her Misao, which I believe she looking up, what was it, she transgender or something like that? Was she was a boy, or I mean, I'm not gonna get into far on the subject though, but growing a facial hair on your chin. There's a point where Saki was just laughing at her because you died because of a single facial hair, and it was like, what was your name? Misao. So that's so a manly name and all that. What was your father's name? And that too, so as whether a transgender or whether she was a boy or not. So, but still, and she had her name with the name Lily because, but beside that, since when she died, her father blames himself for what he blames himself for basically because she died, thinking that she died because of him. That's why he blames himself, and that's why he hasn't watched no TV or anything. So even though he blamed himself, he still loved his kid, and now Lily wanted to do something because of that. So they forget, and some of the songs in this show, I think for the most part, I did like basically. The song where Lily sings to her father, make him that she still loved him and trying to make him get over his despair, basically, so he can move on with his life. The song that was playing, I did like, and then some of the songs that played toward the end, I did like. So overall, the songs I did like, and I was virtually, especially it was dealing with idols, and all that. I mean, there was an anime movie that was regarded about an idol that was being stalked, haunted, Perfect Blue. That was a good movie. I liked Perfect Blue, but that was about a pop idol. And I'm sure there are certain other ones though, but especially when idols mixed with zombies, I thought it was kind of different, basically. But this is some of those songs I was playing I liked. And then again, the backstory of Saki and her biker gang, her best friend was a Rico or Rika. Yeah, Rico. Yeah, who was her best friend in the gang, and there's more where she was talking to Saki about after all this, they want to live like a normal life, have a family, and all that. And what she does is she has a daughter named Maria, which she started was an innocent girl, and all that. But until she wanted to go back to doing her not go back, but she wanted to be part of her mom's former gang and wants to make her by her gang alive and all that. And she doesn't want her daughter going to doing that because of what happened to her best friend. Because a flashback to Saki's death, she with another like a rival gang or whatever, she would do playing chicken, like driving towards the cliff and then stop at the last second, but Saki kept on going and she drove off the cliff, and that's when she fell to her death. And Riko doesn't want her, because she knows there was this challenge with this rival gang, and she doesn't want her daughter to go in the same thing what happened to her best friend. So, and then Saki follows them, and her best friend, Caesar's like, is that, she's recognized like Saki, and she's like, who's that? I mean, first honestly, I know when your friends are like with the father of Lily, Caesar. I know she's been dead though, but when you recognize like, is that her? I mean, who looks exactly like the person, like same hair, face, whatever, voice, whatever. The same thing with Saki when her friend recognized her. I mean, have the same exact face, voice, and the same hair, a look-alike, double. I mean, it's hard to say that she's really like a double ganger or someone else, but I was like, are you really my? I think she should ask, are you really my? Were you really my best friend from that years ago or whatever? Or otherwise, you find out that she's a zombie though. But still, at least to know that you're still here. That's like a nitpick though. Like, for one who looks exactly like your best friend, do you think you're ask like, are you really my best friend? Tell me the truth or whatever. I understand that because even the moment where, even though Kotaro is always screaming and yelling though, but he gives like a little bit of advice here and there as well. Especially when we tell Saki about being an idol and dealing with the outside of your idol work and all that. Or moments when when Kotaro was talking to Junko about how dealing with the changes of during the time of her death, over the years and all that. So he does give a little bit of advice here and there, besides screaming and yelling at everybody. But anyway, back with Saki, she goes and takes her friend's bike and even drives us off the cliff the same way that killed her in the first place. But since she's dead, she comes back unscathed. And gives her daughter a bit of advice, don't do like what you're doing, but you want to be in the biker game, but don't do the same stuff that be as strong. Because even though she had conflicts with her mother, saying that your mom, her mom's weak and all that, but she's not. Saki says that your mother is still strong, and then she goes to sing a song about her as well. So, and then towards the end of the towards the end, but there was another episode where surprisingly that they go to since they're running out of money, Kotaro has them do advertising. Like, they go to this chicken place, which is actually, it was called Drive-In Tori. Which that's actually, I looked up, that's actually an actual place in Japan. The same exact sign, same building design. I was like, really, they actually use an actual building that's in real life in Japan. Drive-Thru Tori, it's an actual chicken place. And I think that's the same, I believe they got the same actual person who owns that place, because Kotaro was introducing the president of Drive-In Tori. I think it's actually the same person. And that's true. It's like, oh wow, so they actually got the actual person to voice as himself and the actual chicken place. I thought that was quite funny actually. Oh, so they actually use a real life place that's actually in Japan. So, or more shortly afterwards, they compete in these games, and they end up getting in the mud and where they're swinging on this rope. And when she swings on the rope, she's flying. She comes disassembles right in the mud, and all her friends try to rush over and put her back together. And since they wanted to show off the advertising for their band called what was that band name called again? was a Franchouchou. Franchouchou? Yeah, it was called Franchouchou. Like, they want to show off the advertising for the band, but actually, as it was actually, they put the shirt double shirted, and it was the advertising of the shirt. She goes, cock-a-doodle-doo. So yeah, there's a lot of good. So you got lots of good, funny moments, you know, as in the show as well, along with some dramatic stuff, you know. And then after that, what was I saying? Again, towards the end, when Sakura, when she gets hit by a truck again, because throughout this whole time, because she had to when time when she was killed, she lost her memory of her previous life. But when she got hit again, all of a sudden things start coming back to her all of a sudden now, and she didn't probably hardly remember from her zombie life. And they counting on her to participate in this next place where Ai's band performed. So now she's coping with that, how to deal with how when her memories return all at once, at the same time she's a zombie again, and well, not again, but when her memories returned, how she's a zombie. So, and of course the whole typical thing, they give advice and they always come back around. So, but she comes back around. They do the show, but this was heavily snowing outside. The whole stage comes down, but regardless, even if the stage comes down, they still performed no matter what, and they even got an encore performance. And like I said, the songs I thought as they're singing, I thought was pretty decent. And then of course when this is why it leads up to the second season on the cliff after when they're done with the second performance, the cliffhanger, where there's this newspaper reporter. You see a little bits in episodes where he's a little bit suspicious of the girls because he's saying that some of them look familiar. And he is confirming his suspicions because he has a few photos of Juko, Lily, and I, like the photos of them when they're the band of Franchouchou, and then separate photos of them from their previous lives. And he's like, now I'm more confused. Who the hell are these girls? Who the hell are these girls, or whatever? Or what's going on with these girls? Because like I said, Junko's from the 80s, and I was 10 years ago. Same with almost same time with Lily as well. So maybe when the second season comes, maybe that reporter will try to exploit or doing more of his investigation, and maybe comes to realize that that those girls were actually dead all those years ago, and he's like, oh, what's going on? You know, they're it's impossible. These girls are dead, and how are they still here and in this band, whatever. Or we'll get a little more explanation how. Speaking of Kotaro, there was a quick flashback after when Sakura got her memories back and all that. There was a quick flashback when the guy was at school. And he picked up a CD, and Sakura was there, so he went to the same school with Sakura when she was alive. So I guess back then he had a little thing for Sakura. Maybe that's what he chose her after when she died to bring her back to life, I guess. So like I said, maybe in the second season we'll get a little more how his investigation goes, and on those how those girls are still alive when they're supposed to be dead. And maybe when we get more how Kotaro's relationship with Sakura considering that flashback, and how is he be able to bring these girls back to life? He said he's a makeup artist, but how did he bring these girls back to life? How maybe we'll explain that though. So that's like one of the three things I want to see how. When it goes, like how he brought him back to life, how was the relationship with Sakura and Kotaro from before, and then with how that reporter is gonna deal with that scenario. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I'm sure maybe this is on purpose to do it as a nostalgic thing though, but forgot to mention that. Kotaro, he also has a zombie dog. He has a little zombie dog with him. It first seems cute though, but when it gets vicious, it becomes like a monster of a zombie dog. which it feeds on squid or whatever. Guess what the name of that dog is? Romero. I'm like, really? Are you trying to poke fun? That dog's named after the late zombie director George A. Romero. Come on, it's blatantly obvious. Regarding about zombies, the name Romero of the late George A. Romero. So yeah, I thought that was kind of a cool reference when the dog's name was Romero because hey, George A. Romero, rest in peace, because he's the godfather of zombies, as what anyone else would say. So that was a cool reference to George A. Romero. I mean, George A. Romero may rest in peace. So yeah, so I forgot to mention about the zombie dog Romero, and like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing a second season, which is not gonna come out now because due to the circumstances. But I'm imagining it's gonna come out. I'm guessing it's gonna come out next year because they announced that like last year they said we're gonna do a second season. So if it comes out next year, I'll look forward to seeing it. So yeah, but the characters I like, especially with this, we get some of the dramatic. Oh, well, I forgot to mention how. I did mention, but I almost forgot. So, sorry, excuse me. Nose is a little runny, but I forgot to mention about Sakura's backstory before she died. That she was a girl that always, no matter how hard she tried, she was trying so hard to like pass tests or whatever, or there was a play. Some bad luck always happens to her. Like she was supposed to get this play, but then she gets getting sick, or started this battalion-a-thon, whatever, but she ends up getting leg cramps, or where she was trying so hard on studying, but also on the day of the test, she ends up like falling asleep or whatever, or stress or whatever. So she had this running along of bad luck that happened to her, and of course didn't help when she got hit by a truck. So yeah, I forgot to mention Sakura's backstory before when she was alive. But the characters I liked, and so with the Sakura, and especially Saki, I liked, and although you didn't get much to backstory with the other girl, like with Yugiri, who was from the 19th century. Tai you knew nothing about because Kotaro says all of a sudden she's also a legend, but even when Sakura says legend of what, and the guy just brushes it off, or mention when they're zombies, when they mention how they brought us back to life, and the guy says, "You ever seen a zombie movie?" And the guy just brushes that off as well. So, but yeah, and so the characters I liked, as we said, especially when the dramatic stuff, the backstory, some of the backstories on how they died. The songs for a lot of when they're singing, I liked, and especially the score as well. Them try to cope, the stuff of being idols, let alone when they're zombies as well. So yeah, when second season eventually comes around, I'll look forward to checking it out, but it's not going to be anytime soon, but hopefully next year in 2021. But Zombieland Saga, I enjoyed. And as I said, I want to get the, even though I mentioned before with Keijo that it was supposed to be the last one though, but I want to get this one in because I just watched this, just recently. I would say recently because it's been over a week or so since I watched this, so I want to get this in for the sake of it, so I would say this is the last one for Anime Month. But I like the show, and I'm looking forward to the second season. Once again, I give credit to Funimation as well, because Funimation has done a lot of good things of animes I enjoyed. But yeah, so that's my review. The last review of Anime Month. I enjoyed Zombieland Saga. Now there's zombie animes I've watched, but my all-time favorite is High School of the Dead. It's one of my all-time favorite animes. I love High School of the Dead. I wish there was a second season though, but like I said, never gonna happen. Considering it's 10 years later, but at least this is getting a second season. I look forward to seeing it eventually later on. But Zombieland Saga I enjoyed. So I hope you enjoyed Anime Month. Just feel free to rewatch all the ones I did this month and last year. Feel free to comment about them if you have heard of them or have you seen them, have enjoyed them, or whatever the reason though. Leave your comments on those ones. I like to hear your thoughts on those, even including this one or all the ones I reviewed. So hope you enjoyed Anime Month, and I give Zombieland Saga, I would say give it a thumbs up. It's worth watching. Anime, I forgot to mention, and last minute I forgot to mention, Forgot to mention the animation I liked as well. So yeah, the animation I did like. I was looking at some people did not like this. Some were saying that they did not like the animation, but I don't see it. I like the animation. So yeah, Zombieland Saga I enjoyed. So I hope you enjoyed Anime Month. Please feel free to comment about your thoughts on whatever the animes I did this year or last year. But thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more movie reviews and such. Later.